Welcome to this installment of TBD, where, as you might notice, today I am solo because my professional wife, Emma, is home today on a very long overdue maternity leave. Emma, I'm going to do my best to do you proud. We are really excited to be talking to Jayce Bartok, who is a phenomenal actor, director, screenwriter, and an all-around good person.
Oh man, thanks.
What I'm really excited to talk to you about today, because I feel like you bring a perspective that we haven't had on the show yet, because you are a native New Yorker. Your mother was an artist.
Yes.
You grew up here in New York City when it was dangerous and cheap.
Yeah.
And now New York is unfortunately safe but extremely expensive. And yet artists are still planting their flag here and saying this is where I have to be be creative and to find my highest expression of myself.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about the transition that you made from acting into multifaceted creative expression.
Absolutely. Yeah. I started acting, as essentially like a kid, and then, doing plays, and I was in The Fisher King. I think that was like the first film, and then just started like working and always sort of like on the cusp, literally, like people were like, it's going to happen any minute for you, son. It's going to be big, and then like you sort of began to realize, well, like all these people that I acted with are now like super famous, and you're like, well, I'm just still running around, and everything being fine and everything, but I was like, it really kind of connected back to my mom, because she came here for that reason,
and find that fulfillment.
Yeah, and she had a family, and she had all kind of crazy things that kind of ended up sort of blocking her. But I sort of was like, you know what? She always said to me, you're going to find yourself wanting to direct something. And I didn't have the courage. I wish I had done it in my 20s, when Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were doing all that. But I was like, well, no, I'm just an actor. I'm working all the time. I'm in Law and Order. This is totally going to be great for me.
It's when people start saying to me, you should write a book. And I'm like, no, writing. I mean, what, a book?
Book?
It was something that I did for my own pleasure, but it never occurred to me that I could actually do that professionally.
Right. And then, so I was in Los Angeles for pilot season, and about pilot season.
Yes.
It's where you literally go out there, and, if you're on that certain list, you go out for 30 things in like the course of like a month. You're like, okay, now you're a blind fighter pilot. Okay, now you're the techie sidekick. That was big for me for a while, the techie sidekick. But I was so miserable, and then I decided to write a script. My mom had passed away, and I was like dealing with a lot of stuff, so I was like, let me write this script for my friends to act in called The Cake Eaters. Did a reading of it, and all of a sudden it was gonna get made into a film. None of my friends ended up being in it, which was, crazy. But Kristen Stewart and Bruce Stern and all these great people were in it. So, of course, after that, I literally thought, that's my calling. I'm going to be a famous screenwriter. I'm it. This is it. This movie's going to be huge at Tribeca Film Festival. And then, it took me just a couple of years to realize, like, no, that's not it.
I want to ask how that ties into your latest film, Fall to Rise, which is a beautiful story about a dancer who, against everything that her family and the company she worked for is telling her, is determined to plant her flag and continue to creatively express herself because she just feels like she has to.
My other half, my partner and my wife, Tiffany Bartok, she used to dance and teach dance. So, the story was very much rooted in her kind of identification, love of dance, the idea of making something about this out-of-control dancer. So I didn't know a thing about dance. I'm not super coordinated. I
think of you as super coordinated.
Thank you very much. But for me, relating to these two lead characters, I could easily identify as an actor. Sort of feeling like part of both of them. One that's made it, one that hasn't, and putting it all on the line to try to, express yourself, even if it means sort of risking, your family life, your parenting, your occupation, putting it on the line to create. So I was able to identify that way.
I also wanted to ask you, because you're a member of the Bahá'í faith, which I have just learned about, and I think sounds like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And the aspect of it that I thought was particularly spectacular is this notion about God or the creator as being an artist or a fashioner.
I am a Bahá'í, yeah. My mom became Bahá'í in like '69, and like the kind of like the burst of the Summer of Love. And it's a beautiful religion. It's Persian, mid 18th century. there's two central prophets, Baha'u'llah and the Bab, and it's got this amazing concept of progressive revelation where you're sort of this notion that God never really left you alone and sent different prophets for different times. And there is a big emphasis on being an artist. You know, like I guess Dizzy Gillespie, the jazz musician, he's a famous Bahá'í, and Rainn Wilson, Seals and Crofts, Summer wind, make me feel fine. You get the rights to this? Flowing through the passions. See the singing part of my mind.
I just heard that actually yesterday on the radio.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of people out there who want to come to New York to be creative, to be artists, and I think they want to know what it takes and what you have to draw upon to stick with it year after year.
Whether you're Baha'i, non-Baha'i, you know, whatever, Catholic, Christian, Jew, atheist, Muslim, whatever, you gotta have to do this. To be a creative person, an artist, is a magical thing. You want to do something special, accomplish something. So building a team around you to help support you in telling these stories is something that you should start looking for as soon as you can.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, thank
for
you.
sharing
Thank you so much.
all your advice and brilliance.
I hope it was coherent.
It was absolutely coherent. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.